What's up, guys? It is Dives, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Welcome to the Suit Up Pod. The Suit Up Pod can be found on iTunes and Spotify. Hit that subscribe button, guys. If you guys are watching on YouTube, on tap for today, we are going to react to episode 11 of the Clone Wars. Loretto, are you ready to suit up?
Let's suit up.
Suit up.
I am Iron Man.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
The Force will be with you, always.
A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun.
I can do this all day. What's but a smile on that face?
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always open.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
All right, guys, we are back. Joining us today is, of course, our co-host. He is Loretto. Follow him on Twitter at Marcellus Durden. Check out Movies Matrix on Twitter at Movies Matrix and moviesmatrix.com. What's going on, Lo?
How's it going, sir?
Woo!
I have had an emotional Friday, to say the least, man. The day has come, and it hit us hard.
Last week on our last pod, we talked about is this the best Star Wars has given fans in decades? And for me, it was an emphatic yes. We have experienced 90 minutes of the best Star Wars experience I have seen in a long, long time. How about you, man?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, at least until the last. When was the last time? What was it? The Last Jedi came out in 2018.
Yeah.
So it's been about that long for me, at least. Well, The Mandalorian counts.
Mandalorian does count. Mandalorian does count. So today we are talking our favorite moments from episode 11 of the Clone Wars, the second to last episode. We're going to talk about our favorite moments, where it's going after this. Dude, I got to lead us off. My favorite moment, and you know where this is going, and it's got to be from the jump, my man, Kevin Kiner. The music in this episode was absolutely nailed. And we saw this from the jump, man. The score, the dark, ominous tones. Dude, from the first 5 minutes, I thought I was watching Blade Runner, not Star Wars. This was nothing like anything Star Wars I've seen. It felt like Blade Runner. The score has been terrific through season 7 with the John Williams and all of that. But, man, this episode and how it all built up to the order of to the execution of Order 66. It was the single best use of a score since Ramon Djawadi's Light of the Seven during season 6 of Game of Thrones. Man, that's how much I love it.
Used Anakin's evil deeds.
Yeah, like it was the first 15 minutes of this episode. I went straight back to season 6 of Game of Thrones during the Light of the Seven, where you're just watching and you're just taking it in. Like I couldn't breathe. That's how effective the score of this episode was. Any reaction to that? And what was one of your other favorite moments?
Well, in terms of emotions from what we saw, I think it was the same. When we heard it for the first time in Revenge of the Sith, it was when Padme looks out the window and Anakin's in the Jedi Council chambers, and then he looks at her from far away, and then they kind of have a moment, and then tears come down his face, and it fit what we were experiencing very well because we knew what was coming, but it was slowly creeping us along, just creepily with the screeching, like sharp, ominous tone, and it was perfect. It definitely fit the story, and when it finally hit, it was a wallop.
Yeah, absolutely. Any what was your another favorite moment for you, dude?
All right. Well, for the people watching on YouTube, it's obvious I'm a big Chirrut fan. I got my I am one with the Force and the Force is with me. And I also brought the little version. But anybody just listening, I have a Rogue One Chirrut with us joining the show.
Yeah. Welcome to the Suit Up Pod.
But, of course, when Order 66 happens, it's a swell of emotion. To see Rex actually pull his guns on Ahsoka, that ripped my heart out. His helmet was shaking behind him. The tears were running down his face as he was pointing his guns. That hit me hard. But I would say my favorite moment from the episode is when Ahsoka takes Rex to try to get his inhibitor chip out. And I did not see this coming. She put her hands on his head, and I swelled up. I teared up. She said, "I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me." And she repeated it, and Rex started repeating it. And what a powerful moment, man. For this journey they've gone through, and you nailed it on last episode. You called it, man. You called it. We wrapped up Siege of Mandalore. We focused on Ahsoka and Rex, and we saw Order 66. And what a journey. What an emotional journey. This was a very, very tragic episode to witness.
Absolutely. I'm gonna like touch on a little bit because like the "I am one with the Force is with me" is, you know, kind of the chant of the Jedi. You know, it has so much symbolism of hope. And I thought my take on that was Ahsoka Tano realizing that she's a Jedi. You know, so much of this arc for season 7 for Ahsoka has been: is she a Jedi? Is she not? You know, does she grasp the ways of the Jedi, the old ways of the Jedi, but she doesn't want it. Like we even saw that in this episode where, you know, Ahsoka captures the legend Darth Maul, and all she does is get shit on by Mace Windu. What a dick, by the way. All right, so
I love the way she presented it too. She was like, I think Yoda said, "What you have done for the Republic is so great, thank you." And she just said, "Oh, well, I'm just doing as like a normal citizen would," or something like that.
Yeah, I'm a citizen.
Humbly just, yeah, it's good. You know, I got this.
And then sure enough, Mace Windu, like, they're continuing the Jedi Council and all that. And like, "This doesn't concern you, citizen." Like, I love you.
The shade.
Just so much disrespect being thrown out to my girl, Ahsoka. But going back to that moment where I thought, you know, in that like same Jedi Council scene, you saw Ahsoka say, "Not yet." You know, she's not grasping being a Jedi yet. Was that the scene where she realized, like, holy shit, my destiny is to become a Jedi. I'm going to save my best friend, Captain Rex. He was on the brink of death. Is that what it took for her to become a Jedi? Any thoughts on that, man?
I think that she definitely has accepted her destiny. And I think especially when she has that moment with Rex, I think she came full circle. She was fighting it this entire arc, I think.
Yep.
And I agree. I think she did accept her role.
My personal favorite moment goes to my man Darth Maul, and probably my favorite moment of the season. There's been so many great moments this season. This was the equivalent of Rogue One, the ending of Rogue One, where Darth Vader is introduced. And, you know, an aside to this, if you want to like lose an hour of your life, go on YouTube and search Darth Vader reactions to Rogue One. It is the most fun hour of your life watching people react, because that's how this was for me. Watching Darth Maul walk into a hall, channel his inner Magneto, essentially, and he's like controlling all the metal around him. He's decapitating clone troopers, throwing metal in, cutting arms in half. Like that was without a lightsaber, by the way. That was probably the most badass scene of this entire season. And I mean, Ray Park just absolutely showcases how much of a badass Darth Maul is. I don't know where Darth Maul goes after this. I think we're going to talk about that, what we think is going to happen in the finale and moving forward in a little bit. But that was probably my favorite part of this season. What about you?
Oh man, you nailed it. The minute he turned that corner, my mind was like Rogue One. And it was so cool the way he pulled up the panels off the wall and held it as a shield. It was genius, because in my mind I was like, hey, maybe he'll do some acrobatic maneuvers and flip out of the way of the blasts. And no, he straight up walked them down and said, "You guys cannot shoot me. No, I decapitate you. I cut your arm off. You get out of my way. You guys are nothing." And I can't say it's better than the Darth Vader scene in Rogue One, but I will say pretty damn equal in terms of epicness and in terms of like, holy shit, this is a Sith Lord kicking ass. And again, this entire arc has subverted my expectations. There's always been a surprise in every episode for me, and I would say that scene surprised the hell out of me. I didn't see that coming, and I'm so glad it happened.
The build up, man. You see Darth Maul. I thought he was frozen in carbonite to begin with when you saw him being carted off. And I was like, oh shit, it's carbonite. No, it's not. But then you see him like he's literally in this like metal jail, and it looked like Hannibal Lecter, man. You see the beady eyes like staring out of that like cell, and it was so good, man. It was just captured, like the Hannibal Lecter part was like, it just captured how much of a fucking psycho this guy is. Just absolutely batshit crazy. Man, I don't know what's going to happen after the Clone Wars. We know Ahsoka is going to be in season 2 of The Mandalorian. There is no way that Disney Plus or Kevin Feige or Star Wars lets these two go, because Ahsoka Tano and Darth Maul are freaking gold. That is a gold mine waiting to happen. I don't know what happens in between episode 1 and episode 3 moving forward, but there's got to be something, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've heard rumors, and I think Maul deservedly so. If not a series, maybe even like a short run, like a short little, maybe a 4-episode run of, because I think Kenobi's going to be about 4 episodes, right?
Yeah.
So if they did something similar with Maul, of him, either, it could be a spiritual successor to Solo, or it could be where he goes from here. I think either one would be choice, and the fans would love it.
There is like a song and dance between Ahsoka and Darth Maul that is just so good. I really hope this isn't the end of Darth Maul for the Clone Wars or moving forward. Because if it is, that's a travesty. That is an absolute missed opportunity. What's another one of your favorite moments from this episode, man?
So I encourage anybody to do this if they can, if you have Disney Plus. I actually have been aligning Revenge of the Sith with all of the cinematic scenes we've been seeing so far in the past 3 episodes. I aligned the descent of Ahsoka and Mandalore with seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan capture the General Grievous, or attempt to capture General Grievous. And then it aligns from when Anakin says bye to Ahsoka and the last time they see each other, to when they go save the Chancellor. And then the following episode, I watched all the parts of Anakin being assigned to the Council, Anakin being assigned to watch the Chancellor. That aligns perfectly right before Obi-Wan has that last touch base with Bo-Katan and Ahsoka. It aligns perfectly. And then going into this episode, I got to the part where Mace Windu has that exact same dialogue with Yoda and Ki-Adi-Mundi about, hey, the dark side surrounds the Chancellor. I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi. And where the film Revenge of the Sith cuts off, that's when we see Ahsoka walk in this episode, and it's fantastic. I watched it back to back, and I suggest anybody do that. And I loved the exchange between Yoda and Ahsoka. The fact that he called her Padawan as he left. May the Force be with you, young Padawan. He still acknowledges she's one of them. He still respects her. No. And also the way that Ahsoka looks at him. That was a very emotional scene for me. And everybody leaves the meeting. Ayla Secura leaves, Ki-Adi-Mundi leaves, Mace Windu leaves, and Yoda senses something. He's like, something to say, Ahsoka? Perhaps a message for Skywalker? And you could tell Ahsoka's struggling with her emotions. She wants to tell Yoda this, and she wants to ask about Anakin, but she doesn't say anything. And that the way she looks at him, it's powerful. This series has been such a... the fact that they're pulling our heartstrings with all this stuff is incredible.
All right. Let's get our grades for this episode, because you absolutely nailed it about where we're going after this. Because I think that is a really good segue. How would you grade this episode out of 10?
A 10. Again, I mean, they can go no wrong from here, man. I mean, it's been a hit after hit after hit. Part 1, Old Friends Not Forgotten. Part 2, Phantom Apprentice. Part 3, Shattered. All 10s. This has been the best arc, best episodes of the series.
Yep. Like I said before, I gave this a 9.5. I gave the previous 2 episodes 10 out of 10. I gave it a 9.5. It's not there yet, but like you said, man, the Clone Wars, we only have one episode left, but thank you, Dave Filoni, for absolutely crushing these last 90 minutes of what I call the best Star Wars experience in decades. This has been an absolute joy to say that, that whole Trace and Rafa Marquez has been made up for would be an understatement. Like that happened so long ago now that I've been so encompassed by these last few episodes. I don't even remember who Trace and Rafa are because I was really upset with that. But yeah, this is leaps and bounds the best Star Wars. Even if you aren't this like Star Wars nerd, I implore you to watch these last few episodes of Star Wars. It's pure cinema. It's pure cinema. I give it a 9.5. And I want to touch on where we're going after this because you nailed it, man. And there was a moment in this episode that I think is really going to impact Ahsoka moving forward. And it's about how Ahsoka was reluctant to tell Yoda what she knew from being told from Darth Maul and Palpatine's plans with Anakin. And that started back in the previous episode. And I think that has a big consequence, ramifications about who Ahsoka is moving forward. Because we don't really know what happens with Ahsoka in episodes 1 through 3. We know she deals with Fulcrum. She knows she's kind of doing her thing. But was that just a big moment for her? Like, what was your reaction to that?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because Rex noticed that too. Rex was like, "Why didn't you tell Yoda about what Maul said about Anakin?" And I just, I think you're right. I think it's definitely setting up where she goes from here. But I can't say where she's going. I don't know what's going to happen in this next episode. I'm at a loss for words. I'm just enjoying the ride. I don't know what's going to happen.
Hell yeah.
I'm emotionally spent as of today because what I did earlier, I witnessed the Revenge of the Sith at Order 66, and I aligned it to when after Yoda fights off his clones, I press play on Ahsoka getting attacked by her clones, and to see them with the orange helmets shooting at her, it was hard to take. It was hard to swallow. It was so hard to watch. Like, they literally just honored her 2 episodes ago and showed their loyalty to her, and now they're trying to kill her.
That was brutal, man.
It's so sad.
Is there a chance? I love to kind of predict, and like this is what I do, man. This is what I did with Game of Thrones. This is what I do with all these like MCU things.
You're pretty good at it, man. You're pretty good at it.
Once in a while. Do you think we could see Ahsoka follow the same path as Luke Skywalker in like The Force Awakens and Last Jedi? He basically kind of banishes himself due to his failures with Kylo Ren. He kind of just secludes himself. And is there any chance we could see Ahsoka kind of follow that same path? Because we know, the shitstorm's heading to the Jedi right now. So even though she doesn't call herself a Jedi, I mean, it kind of is like she goes in hiding, but she's not really hiding. She's more so like ashamed, that she led to this. She could have, if she spoke up, what could have happened? Is she going to be so guilt driven moving forward that, she kind of goes and off on her own? Any thoughts on that?
I can see that. And actually, I just had a brain blast because I did think this earlier. I'm not sure if it's going to be the way that I think, but what if we got one more transmission from Obi-Wan and he straight up tells Ahsoka, like, hey, I'm going to Tatooine to watch over Anakin's children. Yoda is gone. The Jedi are gone. Ahsoka, take care of yourself or something.
I'll immediate tear up. I was dying.
And then maybe that starts her journey, and maybe that's the grand finale, and Ahsoka's just flying off, God knows where, and maybe it leads into the series of the live action series. I don't know.
That's hands down. That's everything. You absolutely nailed it, Loretto. Like that's how this season needs to end. That's how this series needs to end. It needs to open the door for some sort of Darth Maul, Ahsoka Tano, Obi-Wan series. That it would be so exciting. Man, I'm just like getting goosebumps just thinking about that. Like that's if Kevin Feige's smart, I hope you're watching. But man, that would be so riveting. I'd die.
Yeah, no, I'm as I said it, I got chills. I'm just like, oh, that'd be just the perfect way to connect episode 4 and this finale here.
Yeah, man. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up, dude?
Like I said, I'm emotionally spent. It's been a heck of a morning. I woke up, watched the episode, teared up, sat in silence for like 10 minutes because I couldn't process what I just witnessed. And then I did the Revenge of the Sith, tying into this arc, and well done. That's all I got to say. Thank you, Dave Filoni. Thank you, the entire Clone Wars staff. They've created something special. Like you said, this is some of the best stuff we've seen in a long time, and I'm very grateful to have experienced it. It's amazing.
Yeah, luckily we don't have to wait too long. The finale is only in a few days. And
yes.
But May the 4th. As excited as I am for Monday, it makes me sad because I've looked forward to Fridays for these episodes for the last several weeks, and it's gotten me through the week. You know, it kind of sucks out there right now with Corona, with everything, COVID-19, and this has been like one of my pleasures. One of my pleasures of getting through the week. It's 5 a.m. I wake up and I watch Clone Wars, and it's coming to an end. One of my favorite shows of all time. I came into late with it, and I can't thank Dave Filoni enough. This isn't, the Luke Skywalker show. This isn't the Darth Vader show. This is a show about clone troopers. This is a show about clones and their relationships with each other. The relationship between Echo and Captain Rex, the relationship between Rex and Anakin, the relationship between Captain Rex and Ahsoka. Like, there is so much character development in the show, and I just can't thank Dave Filoni enough for absolutely nailing the show. Make sure you follow Loretto on Twitter. He is Marcellus Durden on Twitter. And check out Movies Matrix on Twitter and moviesmatrix.com for Loretto. For myself, thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome.
I am Iron Man.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
The Force will be with you. Always.
A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun.
I can do this all day. What's but a smile on that face?
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always open.
Some men just want to watch the world